Zombies has had a bit of a bumpy recent history. Warzone zombies, Vanguard zombies, and Mr. Waffle Waffles going from smiles and laughs to this. Zombies has shown some promising signs of a revival with the launch of Liberty Falls and Terminus, but many wondered whether this was just the honeymoon phase of a new game. However, with the launch of Citadel De Mortes, make no mistake that in 2024, Zombies is back. The race began on December 5th of 2024. Familiar names and communities like Mr. Waffle Waffles, Noah J, Freckleston, Chopper, Pizza, Valley Speedrunning, and way more were all ready to storm the castle and crack the puzzle first. Treyarch may not offer an official prize or incentive for being the first to take home the complete Easter egg, but make no mistake that the allure of bragging rights is enough to make racers lock in and crack the puzzle. I would love to offer a prize to the first team to beat the Easter egg on the next map as I track the race progress on my Zombie Zone streams, so let me know down below what you think a good prize would be. As with every race, players had no idea how the Easter egg would start, but the 4 elemental swords Treyarch heavily teased seemed like a good place to start, and in any case, were something players wanted to get their hands on. Blasting open the castle doors started the sword search. Maybe they were inside this shipping container.
Oh no! Oh god, I thought Kraft might be in there, bro, not this guy.
You're telling me a zombie got in there? Was there some French stinky cheese in the crate or something? After stumbling past this zombie and opening up Pack-a-Punch and talking to Kraft, who's, off the perks, players started to notice all sorts of fun contraptions around. We're talking secret light candles, secret doors, secret puzzles, and 4 statues conveniently positioned in the center of the castle. Racers noticed night zombies with immune bucket helmets started to spawn, and killing one of these dropped a stamp that could be offered to one of the 4 night statues, granting players a brief taste of the thing they were craving. These swords could parry and slash, but only one zombie at a time, which is one of the things I think the whole community wants changed on the map. Once the bastard sword was in hand, it was clear the harder parts for racers would be upgrading it to its full elemental potential. The fire sword was the first to be upgraded, and we tracked friend of the channel About 6 Penguins and his team to be the first to this sword. It's no surprise that this was the first to be discovered, with lots of dragon architecture around the map, like cauldrons and statues giving clear clues towards the sword. Although the fire sword was easy and quick to discover, the other 3 elemental swords would not see the same fate, as this was the only sword fully discovered for well over an hour, since everyone had some loose ideas and clues, but nothing major or conclusive. It's a part of what makes this map so charming and difficult to unravel for the first time Easter egg, since you never knew if someone was doing a side Easter egg step, the main quest itself, something for a sword, or something as simple as a bonus music Easter egg, as we found out. Well, I'm sure that's important.
What?
After a fair amount of time had passed, the second sword upgrade was discovered. This time for the Raven/Void. Oh, it's going into the void.
Wait.
And it's coming out of the void. Let's go.
There it is.
Void sword upgrade. Racers found a skull in the alchemy lab and placed it under the tavern, starting a zodiac puzzle that required users to input a code, but it was unclear where this code would come from. However, this code wasn't necessary for the first team to crack it, as they got lucky and just brute forced this step, which is interestingly something we also saw with the Terminus Easter egg, when a team brute forced the Nathan code.
To unseal the container,
I got-
it is crucial that
Oh,
any
you got it?
active
Who's
release
behind me?
code
I got it.
turned in
I got it, it's
unison.
unlocked. Come here, come here.
I guess the probability of this happening is higher when you've got thousands of teams all trying to crack the same step, but let me know in the comments below if you think Treyarch should adjust how they do these code-breaking steps. All I can say is that the girl from college who read my palms and asked what my star sign was is currently fuming about this step being brute forced. Part of the reason why this sword took a while to discover is because the placement of the Zodiac cipher machine was right below the tavern, where a separate Easter egg step with symbols took place. I'm not sure whether this was intentionally misleading from Treyarch, but it was certainly sneaky, and led to a fair amount of confusion for some teams. The next sword to be discovered was the Light/Lion Sword, which came with a new mechanic we haven't really seen on a wonder weapon before: healing. This paired with the new incantations of each sword's element, including a healing one, made for a great team building sword. But getting this was a bit tricky for day one, since racers didn't know where to begin the upgrade. Players noticed immediately that the Lion Sword was glowing after killing parasites, and some parasites were glowing once the sword had been equipped. And there was this door. Oh, that makes sense. Although this took a while to discover at first, we tracked Freckleston, Rexos, and Penguins to all have discovered and crafted this sword within 2 minutes of each other. The final sword, the Lightning or Stag Sword, was actually discovered before the Lion. However, it seemed the most difficult as its discovery almost drove Codename Pizza to insanity. This one was found by using some outside the wire thinking, aka Terminus memory of Deadwire, to shoot down an electric rod from a weather vane, while the other two were just found around the map from killing a zombie and next to Deadshot. I loved how much spectacle there was for this one, just for the step to be smacking the coils when lightning conducted off the sword. Although it was funny seeing Codename Pizza do this.
Yeah, I need one more bug, by the way.
I'm gonna try to brute force this gen.
So I can shock all electricals on the map. So I just managed to shock the trap, and it like takes the damage off it and puts it on the trap, kind of. But I don't think that's right. I think that there has to be another thing that takes electricity that I use it on.
So close, yet so far. Speaking of Easter eggs and being lost on day one, let's talk about Corp Punk. Corp Punk may have had me looking like a zombie in my first video playing it, but I promise you, this is a game made for the player that doesn't like handholding at all. Corp Punk is trying to capture the nostalgic magic, bringing back players of the golden age of MMO RPGs like RuneScape and WoW. For my zombies audience, this will remind you in some ways of finding that damn rock in Revelations. If you love that hunt, then this game is for you. As you rank up and get more equipped in Corp Punk, with the lessons of the game learned, geared up all the way, leveled up, you will become a master. Early access for Corp Punk is available now. You can join today using my link in the description down below. And let's get back to this Easter egg filled day one story. By this point, racers had discovered how to upgrade all 4 elemental swords, and they are certainly pretty cool. However, I can't help but feel the quest and upgrade method to get these was just far too easy, especially when we compare them to the other elemental wonder weapons that Zombies has seen. The bows and staffs were long and difficult processes to obtain and upgrade, and they felt incredibly rewarding once you had grinded through the puzzles and rounds to obtain them. But it could not be more of the opposite in Citadel De Mortes. The fire sword takes about 2 minutes to obtain and upgrade, and faces almost zero difficulty in doing so. I am not an elitist. I'm far from the world's best at zombies, but to me, it just doesn't feel that rewarding to earn the wonder weapons on Citadel, and to me, the quest to earn them doesn't even come close to the elemental wonder weapon quest we saw with Origins and DE. They look awesome, they feel awesome, and they fit the map perfectly, but the ease to unlock is one of the very few spots where Treyarch missed the mark in what is otherwise an excellent zombies map. With all that being said, I'm interested to know what you think of the swords. Which ones did you think were the best? Which has the coolest abilities? And what do you think about the quest to unlock them? Let me know in the comments down below. The next set of puzzles to be cracked involved an excellent level of spooky castle mysteries befitting of a secret castle with an old man off the perks locked in the dungeon. This wasn't the only wacky castle-y relic either. You had a horseshoe from the barn, an amulet from the castle, a crown from giving the rats cheese. Okay, this one wasn't a main Easter egg, but it was very fitting of the French. These steps were found out of order, and I'd like to think racers more stumbled into it like Shaggy and Scooby on an episode accidentally solving a mystery themselves. After solving the tavern puzzle, the next step finally made use of the torn page fragments that racers had been finding since the very start of the map, which once placed revealed 4 glowing symbols that players were quick to relate to the new glowing eye traps around the map. This step tripped up a few teams, especially those with lower graphic settings who couldn't distinguish the different traps clearly, but this was a breeze for the majority. With all of this done, you might think that in the almost 4 hours we were in the race, that it would be almost over, if not for the Great Equalizer. That's a term I told my co-host CB Gray I would use in this video. You're welcome, CB. I want to put you in the mentality of racers at the time. There's a slab with the sword symbols and a starting hint for them to even get the swords. There's a wall with the symbols and an order, and there's the room with the knights with the incantations of the different elements all around. It wasn't until someone on Penguin's team smacked a knight with an incantation, and it was glowing, that the stump came in. It was an order, but how was it an order? Was it smacking once each in that order, giving the knight statue the sword back, using the sword ultimate and an incantation on each of them and picking up the sword? Were we missing something and had to run around the entire map?
No.
Those were the only responses from every team for over an hour. One statue glowed and every character made a voice line once you got it wrong. So you knew you were in the right place, but you were just doing the wrong things. So was the slab lying? Was the wall lying? Well, not exactly. See, we didn't get to see it in real time, but we tracked the_Autisto much later down the line, explaining how it was done. And you'd be slapping your head at how easy, but how Treyarchy this step really was. So the step was to follow the order, but here, just have a look for yourself.
Oh my God!
So yes, it was really just a case of smacking the knight and inspecting the sword. I really love this step, just because it is so simple, yet it stumped the entire community for so long. I'm pretty sure this inspect mechanic has never been used for anything in zombies before, and I think that's why it caught so many off guard. I think it's safe to say that in all future maps, people are going to be inspecting the wonder weapons like crazy. After the sheer shock hit the community, the statues hit their own poses. Now you might think this would be an opening to a more elaborate step, but it was really just elemental trials for each sword at their respective locations. They weren't really mysteries either, so this step took teams almost no time at all, but they were pretty fun to do. Once these trials were done, Autisto and his team placed the orb on that wall where the symbols and numbering were used for the night step clue. This opened the wall to a ghost, who had a whole lot to say, and was named Owl.
Guardian key.
And I didn't even like this owl prick before hearing all that.
Were always my favorite.
Yeah, I don't know who that was.
Why are you the way that you are?
With that said, it was pretty obvious where teams needed to go for the boss fight. I mean, there is only one large spot that fits a boss arena. And no, it's not to give the rats more cheese. This was the Guardian, the protector of an ancient artifact in a genuinely great boss fight, with the added surprise of being teleported to a very fitting boss arena.
My God. Oh my God.
This is sick! What? Oh my God, W Treyarch! The Guardian was a close combat, aggressive hammering boss with multiple phases akin to Patient 13. However, in the arena, design, and action of combat, Patient 13, I think, is a much harder boss, but the Guardian is a more engaging boss. 13 was all about ranged combat with little cover in a massive arena, while the Guardian fills the room with lava, had incantations all around to counter him with, is on the aggression, and can even be parried by the swords. It's a functionality of the swords that is often forgotten, even if they are not the most effective melee weapon on the boss. Funny enough, the drill is more effective than a sword. That being said, Treyarch nailed another boss. Even if I didn't see a single team really wipe to this one, something I would hope to see happens more as the DLCs continue, I love a boss with genuine raid boss mechanics. And here is the reaction to the world's second clear.
Come on, we're about to see the end.
Oh my
god! At the very end, does he have one?
Does he have a final stand, maybe? Dude, they're like qualities like going to.
Oh, and it's
wait,
over. Wait, he's dead.
Wait, I don't know. Is he?
He's dead.
Even though the team of Autisto, Bbat, Matt, and Sakitsu were the first we saw on Twitch, They were not the first in the world to complete this. I want to clear up any confusion of foul play or data mining. I know it's unfortunately impacted the history of COD World's first Easter eggs, but there was none here, thankfully. I kept seeing this spread through the community, and even Autisto had to clear this up on Twitter, saying in a response to a post that says, "Another zombies Easter egg hunt ruined by data mining. The sword inspect step would have taken a while to solve. Such a shame." BBAT replied and said, "That is not what happened at all. I can read a comment in a Twitch chat that said to maybe try inspecting," which then Autista replies, "Our team was legit though, and we were the first that showed the inspection working on an incantated statue. Flame and his team overtook us in the time we spent upgrading between the completion of the Mystic Orb steps and got the W. This hunt was completely fair." The team with World's First was streaming, but they didn't have their mics on. They did post about their first place finish though. This was done by P0 groups, XPL Jesus, Yay GJ Sot, California Marshmallow, and Flame 150. Congrats to this team. And with bosses getting increasingly more complex than zombies, I want to see Treyarch embrace a World's First race in some way. I put out a post on Twitter and I got flamed for even suggesting this, so I want to know what you think and maybe join the discussion on my Twitter, especially when the maps end in cutscenes like this one.
Take it to the excavation site, but beware the Sentinel artifact.
Excavation site in France. I think I know a map that sounds a lot like that. Will you be there for the next World's First? I'll see you next time.